WBSC Media and Communications Director, and pleased to welcome you again to the second official pre-tournament press conference for the WBSC Baseball Americas Qualifier for Tokyo 2020. We did the managers of Group A earlier today, and now I'm pleased to welcome the managers of the Group B teams, starting with Canada manager Ernie Witt, Colombia manager Jair Fernandez, Cuba manager Armando Ferreira, and Venezuela manager Jose Agustin. We will start off by asking each of the managers their comments on their team's preparations before opening the floor to media for any questions to the managers. Just a reminder, there is a simultaneous translation service available for this press conference. At the bottom of your screen, you can select interpretation, and from there, you can choose Spanish or English, or you can leave it with the default setting and you will hear the live audio feed. So without further ado, we'll go around the managers, and starting with Canada manager Ernie Witt. Ernie, just like to hear your thoughts on your feedback on how the team's preparation has gone for this tournament and your chances ahead of the tournament as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Buenos dias. As you know, we have been here for a few days. We have had 3 exhibition games, and our team is doing well. We're healthy. We're an older group. We had some difficulties securing some players, but I'm very happy with the team that we have gathered here, and we look forward to some great competition during this tournament.
Thank you very much. Ernie, now to Colombia manager Jair Fernandez.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And yes, for our ball club, we, started off, doing like some sort of mini camp back in Colombia with the guys there. We're like an independent. The guys are within our organization. We just make sure, to do like a follow up with those guys. And so far, we've been here for 2 days, and have a great group of guys. We've been getting after with the opportunity we had to get on the field and whatnot. So guys are, looking good, looking healthy, and looking forward to some competition.
Thank you very much. And now to Cuba manager Armando Ferreira. So just need to ask you to unmute yourself, please, Mr. Ferreira.
Hi. My chance to talk?
Just waiting for Mr. Ferreira to unmute himself.
Okay.
Sí, buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. Our team was for around 25 days training, effective training. We cover all topics that you need for this competition. We were getting in touch we had a game in Curacao, and then we started playing among ourselves because in the last week, we were uncertain with respect to visas. We had to have a lot of training, even though we had some athletes that were not in the country, but the team is fine. The spirit is quite high, and we are going to get the position, the slot we're going to go for it.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Venezuela manager Jose Agustin. Thank you.
Hi, guys. Good afternoon to everybody, and thank you for everything that you guys have done. We know what we're going through worldwide, and it hasn't been easy for everyone. And in our case, up to date, we've been putting the team together based on the permission through big league organizations. But finally, we had our final practice today, and we're in a good shape. We've been here for almost a week. We have 2 days of practice, followed by 3 games, 2 with Dominicans and 1 with the USA team, and everything's moved very smoothly. Thank you to you guys to keep us safe, and I know it's not easy to put an event like this in a short period of time, and just fighting all the stuff that we face daily. And in our case, we have a player that got here, they got a permission, and he got called up to the big leagues, which is a dream for every player to get there, and we're happy on that end. But we're in a good shape, and hopefully we continue to be healthy, which is I think the primary thing of this event, and have a good competition, which I think we all in the same looking for the same goal, and I think it's going to be a great tournament.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Now we will open the floor for any questions from the media. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand, and then we will go through them one by one. When you go to ask your question, please identify yourself and the organization you're from and who the question is to. So we'll start with Francis Romero.
Hola, sí, esta pregunta es para
Yes,
Armando.
this question is for Armando from the Cuban question. I am a Cuban journalist. You can tell me the lineup that you have for the tournament, and do you believe that Cuba will be the team that is the oldest in the team? Is that an advantage or a disadvantage? Could you repeat the first question? If you have, could you tell me the lineup that you have for the first 3 games? The lineup, I want to win the game. I do not want to tell you a lineup, a safe lineup, because if I have to use a second pitcher that I was going to use for the second game, yes, we have, I mean, I will use it. I have some names, but maybe that can change and they can participate in the first game. And the second question, it's about the age average, 30 years. It's the oldest team. Is that an advantage? I mean, that experience, or is that a disadvantage? Well, that's, I mean, the idea of our team, it's true. It's, we are mature, but these are experienced, high-level competitive players, and we are confident, in them, and we hope they can have a very good performance. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to Alan Pena.
Muchas gracias, Elwin.
Well, thank you very much. Elwin Peña from LRP Sport is for Jose Alguacil. Alguacil has directed Dominican Republic, and he's now directing Venezuela. What do you feel in your heart if you are facing your Cuban team? Well, before all, good afternoon. As a Venezuelan, it's an honor to have my my country T-shirt. For the first time, I have the honor of wearing the Venezuelan uniform, and as a manager, we know the need of our country for this prestigious event, and the goal is to get there. I manage in Dominicana, and that experience in Dominicana helped me grow as a manager. And as a Dominican reporter, you know what is my style, and you will see this in this short tournament.
Thank you. Now to Jorge Ebro.
Para Armando Ferreira. Armando,
This is for Armando Ferreira. What have you read about the Venezuelan team? And what do you think about Aníbal Sanchez? What do you know about him? How are you going to face Aníbal Sanchez in this game? Good afternoon, Ebro. We know about him, of course. We have seen some game. We have seen his stats, and it's a great pitcher. It's a pitcher that has competed. He has an experience, of course, very important experience for this tournament. We're here to play, and we have to face him. And I think we will do. We have studied him, of course.
Now to Tom D'Angelo.
Yes, good afternoon. Ernie, I have a question unrelated to the games. Larry Walker will be representing Canada this week as a Hall of Famer now. Could you tell me what his legacy is, what he means to baseball in Canada?
Well, needless to say, you know, we've had some real quality baseball players, Larry is a first-class individual that donates a lot of his time to amateur baseball. He donates a lot of time to professional baseball. He's been a part of our organization, working with not only big league players, but minor league players, and getting the best out of them. Again, you know, our congratulations go out to Larry, an award well-deserved. He'll be joining Fergie Jenkins in there as a Canadian Hall of Famer. And we're just proud that he's a part of our association.
Thank you.
Now to Orlando Palmer.
Buenas tardes,
Good
bendiciones
afternoon, a blessing for everyone, Orlando Palma, WBSC, for the manager of Colombia. What is your lineup and what is the feature that you can say about the opening pitchers? Good afternoon, Orlando. Greetings for everyone in Colombia as well. With respect to the lineup of the pitchers that will be opening this short tournament, we're thinking to go with Helen Moreno. It's a young guy with good pitchers, good pitching, good pitchability. We're thinking for him to be the opening the first game. And for the second game, we're thinking Sugar Ray Marimon and a couple of two more pitchers that we have designed as piggy bag, so they can provide us more depth for pitching. And for the third game, we're thinking of using Joan Pino. That is another arm with a lot of experience, sometime in the major league, good pitchability, good feel for the ball, and people that will pitch strikes, and that is the most important thing.
Thank you. Now to Daniel Alvarez.
Thank you. My question goes to Mr. Alguacil. Buenas tardes, José.
Good afternoon, Jose. Jose, I have two questions. First, do you have a lineup already set up for the Venezuelan team? And the second question, can you supply the Jose Randon that went to the Cardinals? Good afternoon. My plan is to have a short series, so I have the picture of the first game. I have the other pictures available, and I do not have a lineup, or I have said these in different interviews. This will be game by game. After the first game, I will be mentioning the picture of the second game, and so on, until we are in our goal. It means that for that reason, I have not given the names right now for this tournament. You will be listening to it after each game.
Pregunta con respecto a Rondón, si se puede decir.
The other question with respect to Rondon, are you going to replace him or? Well, we had for each, we had to be prepared because when you bring players that they have possibilities to be on a call for a MLB, you need to have other players available in place if we have this. In this case, we have Cabrera, who is there to replace Rondon, who was playing for the Yankees in AA. Thank you, Jose. Always at your service.
Thank you. Now to James Wagner.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Esta pregunta es para el manager del equipo de Cuba, es James Wagner.
This question, I am James Wagner from the US. How was the issue with the visas and you require a lot of time? How was that? How was that situation with you? How did you plan that? How were you able to practice? And I think you just arrived on Tuesday. Good afternoon. Yes, we had some uncertainty with the visas. We were submitted with some time the list of athletes in order to get the visas. And you know that we wanted to be granted the visas and it was not possible that the day before we were leaving, we were able to get the visas for our athletes. As I said, it was our sanctity from, psychologically, it will affect the athletes with respect to training. So we were like, we didn't know that if we were going to get the visas or not. So it was difficult. So you travel directly. Where did you get the visas? We traveled directly from Havana to Miami.
Thank you very much. Now to Alexis Brudnicki.
Hi, I'm Alexis Brudnicki for Baseball America. This question is for Ernie. Just wondering how do the stakes of an Olympic bid compare to all the other international tournaments you've been a part of since the last Olympics, and what the biggest challenge is for this particular team in this particular tournament?
Hi, Alexis. You know, it's always a challenge to go to the Olympics. I think, you know, it's every childhood dream to be able to go and compete at the Olympics and represent your country. You know, our challenges are probably similar to a lot of the other teams that are participating here, is that, you know, you always worry about injuries. Our rosters are filled with guys that haven't competed in a couple of years. So there's a concern about that, but you know, the old Canadian way, we will continue to work hard and play hard for 27 outs, and whatever the outcome is, it is, but we won't leave anything short.
Do you think the obstacles are more physical or mental after baseball's layoff and with the players that you have that may not have played in a while?
I think it's more physical than anything. You know, baseball is a very difficult game. I mean, it's extremely hard. It looks easy from afar, but when you get up close, it's a very difficult game. You know, you're doing a lot of things that you haven't done in a while, and you want to do it, and yet your body won't allow it to happen at certain times. So again, the mental part of it, if you've played the game for a while, you're pretty mentally sharp, but physically it takes a toll, especially with older players.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now to Giordano Carmona.
Hi, Mr. Breaker. Thank you. Esta pregunta va para Armando Ferrer.
This question is for Armando Ferreira to talk about the visas issue that had an impact for the team preparation. But being here, how Cesar Prieto leaving the team, how that impacted. We know Cesar Prieto's departure. I mean, in the training, it was getting down at the bus. I think psychologically the team is fine. We came here to compete. We lost one athlete, but the rest is here. We're going to try to win this championship, at least to do a good role. And with respect to other statements that you provided before coming here, that you didn't call players like Felix player because we didn't know their physical shape. Maybe you had some players that were not 100% or arena, or could you talk about this? We didn't follow Felix Perez training. We had with Priming, he had not a good year in Japan, but he is in exceptional good conditions. We decided to bring him, and as well as others. And Rueruena, we know the quality of Rueruena, and he's not so well, but if you know about baseball, he's in a position where he's batting well, that will feel very comfortable, very happy.
Okay, now we hand over to Jose Zas. Jose, you have the floor. Unmute yourself. Otherwise, we will move to...
Sí, buenos días, buenas tardes.
Good morning, good afternoon. The question is for Armando Ferrer. Two questions. On one side, the people that love Cuban baseball, we are losing three. The first base that doesn't have a good mobility, that can play only that position. Why did you decide to make this decision? And how are you going to manage pitching, intermediate pitching, because we have two closing pitchers. How are you going to manage relief pitchers? Pitching, I answered the journalist that asked me before. We will be working depending on the game. We have Daniel Rodriguez, we have he can play as an opening pitcher as well. It depends on the game, on the match, and we will be doing. What was the other question you asked? The catchers and first base. For the first base, after knowing the injury of Daniel Martinez in Japan, we prepare the catcher. The catchers are well at the defense, and we decided it's a lot of risk to come with two catchers of any change you can make, especially when we have this defense. The case of the first three base, Viñales case, he was abroad playing. He was playing only first base, so he always played, and he has a potential. He's good at the batting. And Cesar Prieto is leaving. Who is going to play second base? Yes, Jerry Mojica. Thank you very much, Jose Alejandro Rodriguez. Thank you.
Thank you now to Javier Gonzalez.
Sí, mi pregunta es dirigida a...
My question is for Armando Ferrer from Cuba. Ferrer, You have in your team several players that are very good hitters. Cepeda, Alfredo España, that has not worked well in Japan, Ivan Correa. So they are not so good in defense. Do you believe that Cepeda, 41 years, can have sufficient defense that is necessary to support pitching in the national selection? Are you confident in Cepeda that he can play? Let me tell you really that Cepeda had a good training. He has a good weight, he's fine, he's very well. And this is the only way that in the offensive we can offer more potential. And we decided that we can give the opportunity for him to get better.
Thank you. Just the last 2 or 3 questions remaining to Yazil Portal. Yazil, you have the floor. Just need to unmute yourself. Otherwise, we will go to...
Yeah, thank you very much. Greetings for everyone. I have a question for the Venezuelan manager and for Ferreira. For Venezuela, what is going to be the pitching strategy vis-a-vis the Cuban team? And how do you know the work done by the Cuban players for this game? Good afternoon again. As I said before, our plan, I have all the pitchers available at the bullpen, and the plan will be developed as soon as the game is taking place, and everyone knows that the Cuban selection, the most players that are in the Cuban selection have played in Mexico and Venezuela, and we all have a history with them. We had reports based on this experience that we have watching them in Mexico or in Venezuela, or what we have seen in YouTube today. It's one of the advantages of each team, because we have access to all sports, whether through YouTube or all the media that have helped baseball. So at the end of the day, they have to play, and the best will win. And now the question for Ferrer. The Cuban team internationally has not been able to obtain good results. What is your biggest concern right now? I mean, to be able to go to the next pre-Olympics, if you cannot go directly, what is your concern right now in the Cuban team? With the team that we have, we are not worried at all. We are strong in all baseball areas. No, we have no concern. We have the spirit of, yeah, I know that they haven't had good results in previous events, but it doesn't mean that we are not going to have it. We have a good preparation, and these are good athletes. They have been preparing themselves well.
Thank you. Just 2 more questions left. The penultimate question now goes to Ray Otero Alonso. Ray, you have the floor. If you're not ready, we'll go to Jefferson Quintero.
Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, Jefferson Quintero.
Well, thank you very much, Jefferson Quintero, WBSC. The question is for Jose Alguacil and Jair Fernandez. First, I'm going to start with Jose. Jose, I can tell you that I have a book in my hands that I will send it to you. You had to make changes and to receive the yes from Carlos Ubero. Carlos was, and you had to take a selection that was prepared by Carlos Ubero and his team. Could you say, based on what was done when Venezuela was not able to move forward, what was left from that team? And what is new in this team? If you have new Robinson Cherino, we have Alex Palma that was in that event as well. What are the difference between the Premier 12 team and the team that we have now? This is the first question. And I'm going to stop for the second question after you answer this one. Thank you for your comment, and I hope I can receive the book soon. I like to read, and I have known Carlos since I was a kid, and this is not a plan or a challenge of one person. We have been in touch since I was appointed manager of this selection. We try to make the best selection. When I said we had a wide roster because of the time when this is being played, we knew that we were going to set up the best team. This is what we have been doing, but there were some limiting factors. The permits that we can get for players that were in the US or in Mexico, we knew that we had a large number of players that were playing in Mexico, but because of reasons that I'm not going to say here, they were not able to come, but it's not the players. They wanted to represent our country, but for that reason, we had a wide roster where we had some, if we had limitations, they could be replaced. And before getting to the final roster, we look at the weaknesses that we had during the Premier 12, and we wanted to overcome the difficulties that we had there. So we were not obtaining the results we wanted, but we have set up this team for this short tournament to face these great teams that are here. The idea is to compete and to provide the result we are expecting. Today, the last day of practice, the team is solid. Tomorrow we will see it with the first game, and we have to be prepared, and we have to also look at what we left at the premiere. We thought that Venezuela was going to be in Tokyo. It was not the case. We saw the game against Japan, and we are here to fulfill that step that was short. And finally, the selections were able to concentrate with some time ahead. Do you think there is an influence of not being together with long time? This was one of our concerns, but as I said, we did all the studies to be able to get to a team where we had 1 week. We have had 1 week of practice. For that reason, we had the games, the exhibition games, to see if we were able to have any concern or weakness, and this was not the case. And as I said, most players that we have been active, not like in the other teams that were practicing, but we had the chance of setting the team in tone this week. And as a manager, I can say that the team is fine. It's well formed. We start tomorrow. You will see Venezuelan's team preparation tomorrow.
Thank you. And for that last question, we'll just try Ray once more. Ray, you have the floor. No, it seems like it's not working for the second time as well. So without further ado, thank you very much to everybody for joining this call today. thank you to all the managers for your time and your comments, and wishing you all the very best of luck for this Olympic qualification tournament, which starts tomorrow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the second pre-tournament press conference for the WBSC Baseball Americas Qualifier. Thanks once again for your time, and for the 4 managers for their thoughts and comments ahead of the tournament. Without further ado, I say goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.